You guys are good. So for those of you who are already tuning in early, you have, your plate set up like this, right? And yours doesn't look this bright because yours is already glazed. I did mine on a plain plate so you could really see the lines. You've got it on your paper placemat. And in terms of the order of the colors that we're going to be doing, we're going to be doing the dark blue first, and then the light blue. I think then it's the red. So, and okay, here's a hint. When you open up and put down your light blue and your white, stick the pink in between. Because as you probably already noticed, the light blue and the white are really similar in color. Here, I'll show you, right? I mean, that's pretty hard to tell the difference. I mean, the white's a little brighter and all, but just so that you don't go, oh, it's not a lot of light here. Okay, well, we'll do our best, people. But anyway, this is white, this is light blue. So when I set them up, I tend to set them up like this so that you can see it easier with the color in between. So anyway, I have mine just set up on the side over here. All right, you need that. Need your slightly damp, this is exciting, paper towel, which I kindly included in the kit. You're welcome. And your 2 tools. Okay, so really think that's about everything that you need. Oh, a little, you know what, if you have a little piece of scrap paper, or we could just use the placemat. But it's better if we can actually use the, just a scrap of paper to practice a couple things on. Yay, Desiree is on. Are you seeing any other comments, just so I know?
Nope.
Good.
Just the 4.
Just want to make sure that I can see what you can see.
Remember, there's a delay, too.
Yeah, there is. It's 7 seconds. I counted it. As I would, of course. All right, well, I don't want to, we have just a few more minutes, but I am going to show you guys, since we're all hanging out here together and you're kind enough to have logged on early, I am going to show you the plate that we're going to do for next week, because this has turned out to be super cool. Well, it's not over yet. I know a lot could go wrong in Jackie World between now and then, but I don't know if you guys have seen this one on our website yet, but this one we call Celestial Blues. And this is a, what is this, a partnership, Alyssa? This is a partnership between Alyssa and me. When I didn't do this one. I showed it to you, and you said, I'm doing this one. And so this is, I think, her 3rd one. And she wrote the directions for this too, which is cool because one of the things that's different about this plate than any of the other designs that I've done is the fact that you could do this one with the stencils that we've made and with written directions. So for next week, if you decide you want to do this with us and you pick up the kit, it will include the base coated plate, everything that was in this week's kit, plus written directions. So it'll be your choice whether you want to do the class with us next Wednesday night at 6, or you just want to do it by yourself with your instructions, or I don't know, maybe a combination of the two. So this is up on our website if you have an interest in signing up for it. And today's what, Wednesday? So our goal is to have these ready for you to take with you when you drop off this week's plate. So you could sign up for the class on our website, and then we'll have your kit ready for you when you drop off your plate from this week. Okay, I think that made sense. I hope so, for all of your sake. All right. I don't know if everybody is in or signed up or not, but I'm just going to slowly go through again everything that we have and make sure everyone's set up, and then we'll try to get started somewhat on time-ish. So you've got your plate. Now, normally when you guys come to a class in person, we write your name on the back of the plate with a writer bottle. I guess I could like talk to you with my face, but that's dangerous. That requires me to move my camera. All right, I'm just waving hello. So we're not going to do that. When you drop off your plate, we're just going to put a little number on the back of it that matches your ticket number, and it'll be discreet. If there's something that you want to write on the back of your plate, at the end, you're welcome to do that using, the white. You can use that, and you can't use any other brush. I do want to make sure you know that. Don't say, oh, I'm just going to write in white and I have a paintbrush, because any brush that has touched any other kind of paint, when it goes in the kiln, there's a good chance that it will pull the glaze off the plate, and there's no way to fix that. So please don't try to use a brush. You could try using the tip of your tool if you want to write something of your own on the back of your plate. That would be safe, because these tools have only been used for pottery. Okay, so you've got your plate, it's turned right side up, it's on top of your placemat. And the reason why that matters is not just because I'm protecting your dining room table, you're welcome, but also because the placemat, I don't know if you can see me doing this on the camera, you will see it because it'll turn. You can use the placemat to turn your plate around so that when you're dotting, you're always dotting from like your side of strength. Like I'm left-handed, so I'm always dotting on the left side. It's better to use the placemat than to touch your plate a lot, because your hands have oils on them. And even if you washed your hands right before you sat down, which a lot more of us are doing these days, the oils will continue to come out and they can affect the plate. It's not the biggest fear in the world, but I tend to try to use my placemat whenever possible. Okay? So you have that. You have the included paper towel. Well, mine's already dirty. What a shocker. That I've slightly dampened. I don't know if you can see that it's wet. I can see it. So I'm going to hope you can see it. And that's what we're going to use to clean off our tools every time we dip and dot. Just wipe it off. Not in between the same color, when you're changing colors. Sorry. Could have been clearer about that. All right, so you have two tools. All right, so we have, okay, this is going to be brilliant now. Hope you're sitting down for this. Yellow tool, white tool. And that's how I'm going to refer to them. And then you can see that inside the tools, there's a dot of color. So if I was going to be talking about this tip, I would be calling it the yellow tool, white tip. If I'm going to be talking about this one, it's going to be the white tool, yellow tip. All right, I hope that makes sense. If for some reason it does not, just shoot a comment over on Facebook and I will re-explain. And I will show you which tip before each step. And in terms of the colors that you have, we're going to be starting with the dark blue, and then we'll be going to the light blue and then the red. And I mentioned this before if you were on early, but what I do when I set up the colors is I set up, this is the light blue and this is the white, and they're kind of similar. The white's a little brighter, but other than that, they're similar. So in my little setup here, I keep the pink. Pink is keeping the piece over here, all right, in between them so I can more easily distinguish. So we have, and then the last thing if you were able to grab a little piece of scrap paper or a card or something, just gonna go over, I know I put this in your instructions this afternoon, but just kind of go over the basics of dotting. So I'm going to pull my paint in when I'm going to use it. And so if we were going to go, there's three different steps, three different kinds of dots, if you will, that we're going to be doing. There's dip and dot, which is dip and dot. Whoops, sorry. Dip and dot. Okay, it's very straightforward. Whenever you're doing these, and this is most of them until I tell you we're doing something different, the reason you always want to make sure you dip and dot and dip in between is so that you get dots that are basically the same size. Sometimes when we're doing like a teardrop, we do a technique. I'm going to clean this one off and use a smaller tip to show you this. We're going to go around one of these. I'm going to dip this down in 2 hands. And let's just say this is the outside. I'm going to start here, and then I'm going to go around it. And when I do that, each dot you'll see gets slightly smaller. Okay, so that's kind of what I call, brilliantly, I know, this is patented, dip, dot, dot, dot. So when we get to that part, I will definitely go through that with you carefully, but I just wanted you to see what that technique looks like. And the last one that's, oops, we need that, sorry, that you may or may not have done before, even if you've done classes, is a drag. And the most common tip I use for dragging is the white tool with the yellow tip. And a drag is pretty much what it sounds like. Okay, you're going to put your tip down and drag it. All right. Now, the key thing for a good drag is you want to, I see how I'm leaving it there for a second. I don't know if you guys can see that. There we go. I'll bend it this way. So you can see it, whoops, so that you can get a lot more paint. Let the paint flow down a little bit and then drag it. Okay? Okay, Jackie. All right, cool. Glad that worked out for you guys. Let's get started. I don't see any questions, so I'm going to assume no news is good news. We're going to start by using the yellow tool with the white tip, and we're going to do our center dot first. Okay, so dip it in there and just nice down, lift it up. All right, I'm going to clean off my tip because I'm not going to use that tip next. All right, everybody admire their first dot. One thing I usually like to remind you guys at this point, right, is if you, and I think I didn't put this in the instructions. So if you find as we go that you make a mistake, the most common mistake is 2 dots touching each other. Leave it alone. It's way easier to clean it up after it's dried. You run a real risk of getting a kind of a smeary mess if you try to clean it up while the paint is still wet. So just leave it alone. I know that's hard, but let it go. Let it go. And we'll clean it up I'll show you how to clean it up at the end, because I'm sure I'll have 1 or 2 of those. All right, so after you do that, we're going to now, using the white tool with the purple tip, we're going to put a dot just on the outside of here in line with each of these rays. Okay, so I'll show you what that means. And when I say just on the outside, better to not be too close and not a heavy dip, just a nice light dip. And when I do this, I don't go all the way around in a circle. I skip one. Okay, and the reason I do that is because it ends up rounder. So now I'm going to turn it because I told you, I know I used my plate. Sorry, I'm a liar. But anyway, I always want to dot from my angle of strength. So I'm going to do my what I always call my north, south, east, and west first. And that helps me know when I want to put the one in between, it helps me do a better job of centering it and make it just a little bit rounder. It doesn't have to be perfectly round. That's not really an important thing, but I've done them sometimes where I get them way out of whack, and that's kind of depressing. It doesn't end up showing at the end, so I don't know why I make a big deal out of it, but anyway, that's what we've got for the center. All right, you guys are so quiet. I hope that's a good thing. All right, so we are done with that tool, so you can wipe that one off, or done with that color and everything. So we're going to go back to the yellow tool, and we're going to go to the red tip. I guess we'll call this step 2. And the reason I'm doing the steppy thing is so that if you have to go back and revisit the video, you can remember what step we were on, so you don't have to watch the whole thing, as, you know, exciting as it is. So we're actually now going to do a dot, dot, dot out on each ray. So we're going to switch colors. We're now going to move to the light blue, or I'm sorry, the bright blue would be a better way to say it. The bright blue. And we're going to dip and dot, dot, dot. Okay? So what you're going to end up with is 3 successively smaller dots on every ray. Right? Start on the end, dot, dot, dot. Okay, I do want you to notice, okay, full disclosure, mine are not all the same size. The beauty of that is it doesn't matter. Okay, you don't want them to be too far. This is going to be brilliant. You don't want to be too far apart, or of course not too far to get too close together. Too far together, that makes no sense. Okay. No questions? Everyone's just dotting away. Either that or I'm alone here. Am I alone here, Alyssa? Tell me I'm not alone.
You've got 23%.
Yahoo! Okay. Dot, dot, dot. You know what? It's
You got a
different.
question.
Oh, good. I have a question.
Dark or medium blue?
Medium blue. So the one that says medium blue 18 is what we're doing next. Okay. So that's going to be the end of medium blue. I'm going to take a little bit of a pause so everybody can kind of catch up. At some point, if I do end up going a little quicker, that's what I'm doing the step thing for, so that you know when, you know, if you have to go back to it, you know where you left off. The other thing is if I go on to another step and you're not done with that one, you don't always have to be done before you move on to the next thing. In this world, you know, in virtual world. All right, so now, oh, another, what else we got? Tool for that. Okay, for the dot, 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 Laura, we were using the yellow tool with the red tip for the dot, dot, dot. Were there more questions?
Someone before just asked the question of. Okay. Yeah, there's a couple that has popped up.
White tool, purple tip. Oh, so that was for the white tool, purple tip was for the dots going around the center dot. And then the yellow tool with the red tip was for the 3 dots coming out. Am I all caught up?
Just give it a second.
Yeah, because my comments here disappeared. Oh, here we go. Tool for that, medium blue, darker medium. Okay. Thumbs up. Look at all. Thumbs up. I think I got it. I don't know. It's my first one, you guys, so thanks for your patience. Okay. So now if you have yours looking like this, or close to this, we're going to stick with the yellow tool. Okay. And we're going to use the blue tip for the next step. All right. And you're going to go back to the dark blue. All right. And then from the dark, you're going to just put a dot at the end of each one. So,
You got another question.
okay. What is the question?
I don't know if it's someone who signed up. Rebecca Loring Craft, where you get the tools.
Okay. I'll talk about, well, I sell the tools at the studio. I've actually never seen them anywhere else. I mean, obviously I have them from my distributor, but he doesn't sell retail. So yes, we have the tools here. All right, so we're going to put 1 dot at the end. And again, just, you know, give yourself a break. Do it, you know, it doesn't have to be right on top of the 3 dots. And when I dot, I don't know if you can see that, I do it kind of slowly so that I can make sure how much is going to, you know, that wasn't a sentence. See how much is going to drip or spread out, really. All right, so that's all of my big dots there. Let's see what else we got here. And I'm wiping that tip off. Where do you get the tools? Yeah, that was that question. Okay. So whenever you guys like finish a step, feel free to hit me a thumbs up so I know I'm not going too fast, because that is a Jackie problem. Okay, so we've got that on there. Okay. Oh, let's go to step 4. What the heck? I have a lot of these. I'd hate to have made them and cut them out for no reason. Okay. My life is full and meaningful. Okay, so we're ready for step 4. Nobody's telling me otherwise. Oh, thank you, Janet. Okay. So we're going to go to the white tool now, and we're going to go to the orange tip on the white tool. And we're going to use, ooh, get ready for the excitement, the red glaze. All right. Now, I'm going to show you guys this step. We're going to be making a diamond in the middle of, in between each of these, I call them antennas. Okay, so when I dip it in to the red, what I do is I put a dot here and a dot up here, and then I put one on each side. Okay, that's how I make the diamond. Kind of makes sense.
I just answered a question for you.
Thank you.
Just where we're located.
Oh, okay. Ooh, you knew that one.
I do.
All right. So dot down here. And it doesn't really matter where in here these are. That's why I haven't given you really specific directions. It's just this is the design that's going to go in the middle. It's usually best if wherever you do the first one, that's where you do the next ones as well. So I started between dots 1 and 2, so I'm always going to start between dots 1 and 2. Ideally, and dot in between each one. Whatever your first one comes out as, size-wise, etc., that's what you want them all to be. All right. So usually this is when I'd be walking around, making sure people are understanding what I'm saying. So just pretend I'm there with you, looking over your shoulder, telling you how beautiful your design is. Because one of the things I love about doing these is how awesome they all come out. Because they all look, even though we're all doing the same thing, they all look a little bit different. In fact, I'm hoping that a lot of you guys will bring these back in the next few days to be fired so that I can like take a group picture like I usually do. Or maybe you could just send me a picture of yours before you bring it in so I could post it, although they look way better once they're fired. I don't know. All right, guys, so there's mine done. And I know I'm a faster dotter because this is not my first rodeo on this plate. So I'm not going to rush ahead. I'm just going to show you that that's what it looks like when you're done. Okay. Hey, Britt. So Brittany Dimes just joined us. That's cool because Brittany, you're a senior, right? In college, and she's going to be graduating. And Brittany used to work here when she lived locally. So that's kind of cool that you joined us for this. All right. All right, so we're going to be ready, I think, to move on to the next step. Oops, can't be the next step without the next step sign. Okay. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to take our yellow tool again, and actually the red tip again. And what we're going to do is we're going to use the light blue, which is the one, well, not the white one. Okay, it has the little 11 on the side of it. And we're going to what's called double dot. And I'm going to show you the way I do it on this one. A lot of times when we double dot, we do a dot right in the middle, but we're not going to do this one right in the middle. What we're going to do is do it off on the center edge. Can you guys all see? I guess you can. I can't really ask you this. You either can or you can't. So I'm coming right here on the edge. It's kind of like an off-center eyeball or something. Oops, I didn't mean to. It's hard to do it and talk at the same time. Not my strength. So I'm just going to let it drop onto there. Okay. What I do is I go around all of them, and then if there's one that's substantially smaller than all the rest, I can always go and drip more paint onto it. I don't really worry if they're not all exactly the same size, because again, this paint, one of the nice things about doing these with glaze versus with paint is they will compensate for themselves when they get fired. You'll see them spread out a little bit. So we're going to double dot that. And you know what? While we're at it, let's go ahead and do one in the center. Now in the center dot, when we're going to put another double dot on that, and I'm going to do that one right in the middle, I'm going to use the blue tip for that one. Okay, the yellow tool with the blue tip, same color, and put a dot right in the middle. Ta-da! gorgeous. I know. I can drop paint with the best of them. Okay, so that's that little step. And make sure I don't have any other questions. Nope, we're good. All right. So if you're done double dotting, we're now going to do our first teardrop. Now this one's a little bit different than most teardrops. We're going to use the smallest tip, which is the white tool with the green tip. All right. And we're going to go back to the dark blue color. And the best way I can describe that one is you're going to put a dot right above there, and then you're going to teardrop around it. So dot, dot, dot. So I have 3 dots on that one. Then I dip it in again lightly because I don't want my first dot to be really big. Okay, and that's what I'm doing. So obviously, whoops, what do we have? I keep cutting out. No, April, you got this whole setup going. Don't cut out. All right, well, if we need, and I told you guys, I'm very patient and I'm very eager for you guys to have a good experience with this. So if you have any problems and we need to come back to something or we need to do something tomorrow or whatever, just call. I'll be happy to walk you through it. So again, we're going to put a dot in the middle right there, and then we're going to go on the outside and just teardrop around it. Dot, dot, dot. Then a little dip and dot, dot, dot on the other side. Do the green lines go away? Yes. Well, you guys don't have green lines on yours, so this is just on mine. But it would anyway, exactly. This is done, you know, it's an interesting question because a lot of times when you want to sketch something onto pottery, people want to use a pencil. And we do have what I call safe pencils here at the studio, but I usually advise people against using pencils because pencils can actually have a lot of junk in them that can not leave pottery. So we tend to use really cheap washable markers. Cheaper the better. And it's not something you hear too often, but quite the thrill for us. So this is just your basic dollar store washable marker, and it comes right off in the kiln. It does not withstand, you'll be happy to know does not withstand 1828 degrees.
Yeah, and this video will be on Facebook afterwards, correct?
Yeah, the video will definitely be on Facebook afterwards. And if for some reason there's a problem with that, I can do another true video and just post it on our website as well. So if you're worried about it, don't. I will make sure you have access to this.
I had another question too.
Okay, what's it?
Christine asked, can I get one and do it at home still?
Oh, sure. Absolutely. Yeah, so Christine wants to know, can you get, because I don't know if they can hear you, so I'm repeating your question. Yes, you can just give it, you know what, I don't know that they're up on the website still, but that's a good point. Maybe I will put them back up on the website because you're right, you can just watch the video and do it. So if you want to order one before, well, I'll put it back on the website tomorrow. How's that for an answer, Christine? Mm-hmm. So there, it won't be an issue. It'll be up in the morning. Stephanie is pretty darn quick. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys in my little babbling world here. I did actually come very close with this dot to my blue dot, so it's kind of in the back of my mind. I know it doesn't matter. I'll never see that again, so I don't care. But if you were really caring or if it looked really bad, that's the one I can show you how you could clean up. So this is then officially step 5. And again, I'm pointing out the steps number so that if you're, you know, if you're having problems with your video or something, or you're falling behind or whatever, maybe you're like having a nice glass of wine and could care less what step I'm on, you'll know where to come back to when you want to complete this. So, all right, step 6 then. Ooh, okay. I am behind. Oh, I know you are always slow. So I'm just going to watch and fit. Oh, yeah, that's fine. That's why I'm doing the video, Laura, because I just thought you can watch it, because also then it's kind of like doing it the second time when you do it on your own. So no worries about that. Okay. So now, if you finish this step, we're going to, you can see that this is like a teardrop right above, around this center dot. We're going to do a second teardrop around that. We're going to do the same color. So we're going to do it in the dark blue. The only difference is on this teardrop, we're going to use the white tool with the purple tip. Oops, sorry, I'm covering it, so that's not too bright of me. All right, so the white tool with the purple tip, and then when I do the teardrop, what I do is I start in the middle, just like here, put a dot, and then I successively dot around it, and each of those dots gets smaller. Usually when you do the next round, so remember here there were 3 after the center, and here there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It really depends on you and how heavy a hand you have. So there's no one right answer. So don't stress if yours is different. I will also tell you that it's not uncommon for me not to have the same number on each side. You really can't tell when it's fired. I don't know if that makes you feel better or not. But this is, not the hill to die on. Center dot, then dot, 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 dot. And then add a little bit more glaze very lightly, and dot, 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 dot on the other side. All right, let me see. Any questions? Yeah, nope, we're good. So I'm going to keep going all the way around. You know what I miss doing this? I miss having my background music to sing along with. And what you guys don't want is for me to sing along without the music, so. All right, so music's a big part of it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You guys are probably just talking right over me anyway. What do I know? All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So notice I missed one at the end here, but I'm not going to let that bother me. 3, 4, 5, because I don't want to re-tap that one till I have hardly any paint left on my tip, because otherwise it just comes out much thicker than I intend. 1, 2, 3, 5. I did it again. One of the things I like about doing these, and it's nice about me being quiet, so you can enjoy the Zen a little, you can just turn down your volume. Ooh, that's a cool advantage of not being here in the studio with me. I hadn't thought about that. Is just the Zeniness of sitting here dotting. I find it incredibly relaxing. Okay.
You got a laughing face.
Did I? I don't want to know who thought that. I don't want to know. Okay. So we did the second one. All right. I'll give you guys a second. I'm going to leave this on step 6 because we're just going to be adding teardrops. Now we're going to repeat the same thing, the same activity once we've done all the dark blue ones. But now we're going to still use the white tool. We're going to move on to the yellow tip. And we're going to go to the medium blue color. Okay, the same one that we did the dot, dot, dot in. So the medium blue. And the same activity. Okay, you can put a center dot, and then you're going to come all the way around. Now, one of the things you may notice is sometimes you're going to, when you get to some of these larger teardrops, you'll start to run out. What I do is, the next smallest tip is the purple tip. So instead of sticking the yellow tip back in, I'm going to do the purple tip, because that way my dot will be automatically smaller rather than the same size as my first dot. I hope that made sense to you guys. But I think that's kind of a helpful hint. So the first dots, when I do my center dot and I start at the top, I use that yellow tip. Big dot here, then I come down the side. And if I happen to run out of paint before I get to the end, I use my purple tip, stick that in there a little bit, and just get it so that I have 2 smaller dots. Okay, so start with the yellow, dot, 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 dot. I can see it's running out. So then I switch to the purple. Dot, dot. Okay. No questions on that one? Okay. I often find I can really only get about 5 good dots out of a dip. Oh my God, that made sense to me as a sentence. So it's not unusual that I switch off tips halfway through. Okay, and go for a smaller tip to finish up. Just helps to keep the shape of it. If you don't, it's not the end of the world. This has enough shape to it that it'll hold the shape no matter what. See that one? Look at that. I know, excitement of it all. Look, I made it all the way around with one tip. Okay. All right. April, I'm hoping that if your sound is still a little bit spotty, that by kind of pointing everything out to you, that you guys can still follow along. All right. One of the things you might be noticing on your plates as your paint starts to dry is that, you know, it looks like a quote-unquote different color when it dries. Obviously, it looks like a different color when it's wet. It looks like a different color when it's dry. None of it matters because all that matters is what it looks like when it's fired. So I'm going to give you a second to finish that piece up. On step 6. Step 7, or no, still step 6, sorry. The next, what do you want to call it? The next arc? I don't know, teardrop, I guess, just teardrop. We're going to actually use, just so that you know if you want to, I don't know where obviously you guys are. We're going to keep using that same exact tool and that same exact tip. So for the last 2 that we're going to put around here, we're going to keep using this. We're going to first use the light blue. Okay. And here's the thing I want to point out about this. Usually about now, mine's actually a good one to demonstrate it on, which is good. It's the only one I have, is you won't be able to get all the way to the end of your piece right? I'm going to clean this up to show you. I won't be able to go all the way down into here, because when I do this one, I won't be able to go all the way down there. It's no big deal. You end where it makes sense to end, if that makes sense, okay? So you don't have to go all the way down. In fact, at this point, I usually don't. So I'm just going to take this one as far as I can. What I don't want you to do is risk touching any other dots. That's the most important thing you don't want to do. So stay away from other dots. Do not play well. We don't play well with other dots. So I'll show you on this one then, when I come all the way around, I'm just going to stop right there when I hit my other dot that I had from the prior teardrop, right? Making sense, I hope? All right. So this last dot here is going to be the last dot on this one as well. So start up here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I don't need a 5 because the 5 is already there. Let me see if you guys have any questions about that. No. Grooviness. All right. Oops, I spilled my paint. All right, just checking for questions. Nope. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh wow, I'm back at the beginning already. That went quicker than I thought. Okay. And the last one we're gonna do, just so you know, spoiler alert, will be the white color. So we're not putting the pink in this one. This is gonna be white. Okay. So same activity, exactly the same tip. We're talking about the yellow tool, the white tool with the yellow dot, yellow tip. All right, and we're just gonna do our last teardrop around here. And again, same thing, you're gonna end just right there in the crevice. Because you can't go any further. Yeah. Just for a bit, at least. Is there anything you're wanting else to get done?
Emily just wanted me to dip most of that stuff.
Oh. Well, if you want to have your phone with you and holler out when I need to look for a question, that's fine.
Okay.
Oh, that's pretty funny. Yeah, it's kind of exciting. We have a whole kiln. This is really, so you know, guys, we've been doing the to-go kits, and we did the clay kits with the bunnies and the gnomes. Actually, we're still doing them, but we had a lot of them come in last week, and it is pretty fun to open the kiln and see all those clay bunnies and gnomes in there. Kind of cracks me up. They're like little soldiers, I don't know. Funny looking soldier gnomes and funny looking soldier bunnies. But it's pretty exciting to be able to put a clay project like that together. And this is, any of you who know us at the studio know I have like the most amazing team of people here. They're wonderful. I'm just thrilled to death. But, they came in and stayed and helped put those instructions together. We took pictures, of every step. We described every step. And it was so fun to send it home to people and have them bring them back and come out really, really good. It's like, yay, we're professional enablers. That's our job. I can appreciate that. So it's very fun. So we have a load of bunnies and gnomes in the kiln right now. What color did I just use? I just used white, Janet. So the last one is white. So if it's...
You got a question?
Yeah, was that the white? That was Janet asking me the color, right? Yeah. So I just used white for the last one. It comes after the light blue. And yes, they look... Once you dot with them, they look the same. You really can't almost tell the difference. So that's all of step 6. We've kind of completed the first inner flower. So feel free to take a breath if that sort of thing appeals to you. Get something to drink. I'm going to wait for a second, let people catch up a little bit, stretch my hand a little bit. Teardropping to that degree can be pretty intense. So that's all of our teardrops. And I'm just going to show you guys who are done or whatever. I'm going to grab the finished plate and put that over here and just show you where we're at. So we've done, I'm going to use a pointer. So we will come back and double dot all of this in the middle at the end when they're dry, but we've just finished this section here. Okay. That's what we've just finished. And now, just so you know, we're going to move on to these drags. Okay, and I want to show you something. So these drags are pretty straight up and down. Okay, can you guys see that? I'm going to keep tilting this so I can use my finger for this. All right, you can see that these, I'm watching it here on the screen. So they're pretty straight up and down. I just want to point out the difference there, because these drags, when we get to them later, are more curved. So that's the two different kinds of drags that we have on here, straight up and down and then curved. Okay, so now we're going to go to our pink color that we haven't used yet. Pink, pink, pink. And we're going to go to our our white tool with the yellow tip, which is, I told you, my most common go-to drag tool. And we're going to do those 3 drags in between what we just did. So this is what that looks like. I start with the middle, and I'm going to start here and drag in.
You got a comment.
Okay. My comment is, slow down. Oh yeah, sure, no problem. That's what I needed to know. Thank you. So yeah, let me know, you guys, when you're ready for this. I don't want to go too fast for you. So Desiree, tell me when you're ready to roll. All right. And then we'll do that. You know, if you're waiting, you're welcome to do this drag. And then I'm just going to, do a drag on each side, which is a little bit smaller. Okay. They don't have to be identical. That's all. They just have to be smaller and not run into each other. That's their major job. So go ahead, and Desiree, I'm just going to wait and make sure I'm not too far out in front of you guys. It's kind of fun to actually look at the design from here. I've absolutely never seen a design from straight up and down before when I was working on it. Usually don't get to see this until I'm all the way done, but I'm really loving this design more, and every time I do it, I love it. So, and I have never done it in a different color set. I like it so much in these colors. I think that's, I don't know, says a lot maybe about how boring I am. I'm not really sure what it says, but I really, really like it in these colors. Oh yeah, I can move it definitely more in this direction, if that matters. All right, how we doing? Oh, you're good. Great. Thank you. All right, so dragging, right? So come out here a little bit, let it rest a second, pull it down. If you don't pull it down enough, go ahead and go back and pull it down some more. You do want, and then these you're just going to do quick little bursts. Even if they don't look so much like drags, they just, they look like drags. Little capsules or a little drag. It won't matter. These are going to be double dotted, so they change their shape anyway. Spoiler alert. So come up here, pull it down. Shorter one, shorter one. So you'll see they don't even all look the same. It doesn't matter as long as they have the same characteristics like I just described, which is longer one in the middle, short ones on each side. I think this is, I don't even know how many of these I've done before, so this is what I like to say, right? Not the hill to die on. Just shorter on the sides than in the middle. Let me check for, okay. 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 I'm going to pause on the drags because drags are new to a lot of people, so I want to make sure you guys are comfortable with the dragginess. Technical term, dragginess. All right. I think I'm going to go ahead and call the next one step 8 so that you can remember if you have to come back for some reason that step 7 was drags, step 8 is going to be dots. All right, anybody going to tell me they're done with their drags? Can I see some thumbs up or hold on a minute? Okay, 1, 2. Okay, 3. Cool. All right, there's a little bit of talking to each other with our thumbs. All right. Okay, so the next step then, still doing white. April. All right, so when you're done with your white, you can do your drags. Okay, so now we're going to put 4 dots above the white up on here. Can you see? Yeah, you guys can see this end, so, or in this end. And we're going to use the yellow tool. We're going to use the blue tip. So this and we're going to use the dark blue. All right, I'm not going to be able to rest that there too much longer because I'm going to be running out of plate. Okay, so this is going to be, remember the red diamond we did in here? We're going to do that, except we're going to do it sideways, but it's the same idea. And this one is definitely, especially the first time, I find that this dark blue paint is fairly thin. And what I mean by that, and the reason I care about that, is because it means that when I put the dots down, they might expand faster than, like, say, the pink or the red does. So I put 1 dot down, okay? And then I'm going to put another one up here. Notice how I left enough room in between so that they don't run together. And then I'm going to do the one on each side. Okay, that's the move. I went back and added a little bit more to kind of make them a little bit more even. But that's what we're going to do. Okay, so again, we're using the yellow tool and the blue tip with the dark blue paint, and we're going to put 1 dot right above the white of the teardrop, then put another one, leave a little gap, and put another one above that, and then 1 on each side. That's the move we want. It looks very bold once this is fired. It actually is really eye-catching. And as I like to remind you, it really doesn't matter that much if they're not all exactly the same size. We're going to do some double dotting on these as well. And that, again, changes how it looks. Let me double check for messages. Nope. Okay. April, if you're behind a step and you need me to repeat something, or anybody who, feel free to just send a message, comment, and say, can you go over the drags again, or whatever it is. I'm happy to do that. When we do a class in person, for all of you who have done classes with us in person, you know that I do that all the time, that I can teach multiple steps at one time. I'm really not sure what that says about me. I'm hoping it's something good, but you never know. And for those of you who are worrying that we're going to run out of Ray, A, you're right, we're going to run out of Ray, but B, don't worry about it. I think that by the time we get to where we need to go with this, you will see that, the straight line will be pretty apparent. It's a really nice thing, though, for a design like this as a starting point. All right, I love this stuff. Oh my God, I love this plate. Why am I so ridiculous? Oh, Okay, so that, as they say, is that. That's step 8. Once I start to hear from some of you, I start to, what tool or color? So this is what we just did for the blue dots was the yellow tool with the blue tip and the dark blue. Okay? And I will make a point to repeat it more. So it's the yellow tool, the blue tip, and you're going to do those 4 dots. I tend to do them a little bit slowly just to make sure they don't bleed into each other. Make sure you leave enough room in between them. Your computer is freezing. Oh, sorry, Janet. Well, and don't forget, you know, you can watch this afterwards again. So just remember you were on step 8 where you had a problem. The next step we're going to do, just so you know, step 9 is actually above the drags. So don't worry if you didn't finish step 8 with these 4 dots. It's not the end of the world. That's actually pretty close to the end of that ray. So it's not the worst thing. It'll be easy. That's why it'll be cool to remember to come back to step 8 to do the dots. You could still move on to step 9. Okay, which is, I think, what we'll do unless I hear that I'm way out in front. Any thumbs up from people to let me know I should move on? Okay. There's a couple. I always knew I talked fast. Didn't really know I painted fast. Look at what I'm learning about myself today. Who needs therapy? Okay. Okay, one more thumbs up from anybody? Yay, thank you. Whoever's that happy. All right, so now we're going to work on, I'll just show it to you on the plate. So we just did these 4 dots right here. And what I was telling you is if you didn't get to this point, the only other thing we're going to do is just the drags and et cetera above it. We're going to scooch over here now, and we're going to work above the 3 drags. So we're going to do these 3 little red dots, some white, we're going to work our way up over here. But my point is we're moving over. Okay, so you'll know what that looks like. So for that, we are going to use the white tool. We're going to use the white tool for a while now. So there's a spoiler alert. And we're going to use the purple tip, and we're going to use the color red. And we're going to make what I call a little pyramid or a triangle above those drags. So by that I mean we're going to do, well, pretty much like it sounds. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now you can see when I did them all on the same one. You don't have to. You could dip and dot each one if you want to. It doesn't matter. Depends on whether you want them fuller or a little delicate. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Any questions? Nope. Okay. So I'm turning. 1, 2, 3. And you can see mine are not, as I could say this on every step I do. They're not all the same. And blissfully, it doesn't matter. So the first thing we're going to do is make those little triangles or pyramids out of dots. Okay, above each one. That's the first step. That's 9A, we're going to officially call that. All right. Okay, so once we've done that, we can move on to 9B, which is, again, the same tool. So we're going to use the white tool, we're going to use the yellow tip, and we're going to use white. Okay, so when I say white, remember it's the one that says, well, frankly, it says white on it. The fact that it says 01 on it is probably not that interesting to you. You don't need to know that color. But it says white right on it. Also, the world doesn't end if you make them light blue. It will still look pretty. And what we're going to do is just simply put a dot on each side. So white tool, yellow tip with the white. And we're going to put a dot over here and a dot over here. Okay. These don't show up hugely in the final design, but what I like about them, which is one of the reasons I really like using white, even on light colored plates, is they add texture. And I think that's kind of cool. Okay, so white and a white. All dipped. Cool. Are there still bags up there, or is the thing of bags up top open if you open that cabinet? No, the lunch bags. Do you know if they?
Back here.
Okay. So I was going to say we could set those up and start. What did she want to put in? Oh, if you could do that with the you could start putting using my words, a scratch art in.
It was on the
Okay,
list.
the list. Okay, so let me check. So it was the white, okay, white tool yellow for pink drags. No, it's the white tool. Yes, I'm sorry, April. Yes, exactly. White tool, yellow tip for these pink drags. Exactly. Okay, so we got our two little white dots. All right, and now we're going to use, now we're going to use the white tool, again with the yellow tip. We're going to be using that tip actually for the next 5 steps, so I hope you like it. Hope variety is not what you're looking for here. And we're going to use the medium blue for this next step. Okay, so let me come back over here. I guess I should probably call this... No, this can still be step 9. Okay, so I'm going to turn it so that, since we're doing that over here. Okay, step 9. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to, it's the easiest way to do this. We're going to make a large triangle, not a triangle, sorry, diamond. A large diamond. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the reason I wanted it large is so you have room to put a dot in the middle. And the other thing I then do is switch over. So I started with my yellow tool, and I don't have a lot of room in between. So I'm going to switch over to my green tip and just put a tiny little dot in between. Okay? Isn't that sweet? So I'm going to go through that again. I'm going to describe it on a lot of these because this is a little bit different. So we're going to start with the white tool with the yellow tip. And I'm going to make a triangle, but I want to make sure I have a lot of space. So I would say there's a solid 1/2 inch between, they're 1/2 inch apart, let's just say. You can't really go wrong. And then I don't have a lot of paint, so I can make my center dot with that same tip. But then I'm going to go to the opposite side. The green tip is the tiniest tip. So we're going to use that green tip to just add a little dot in between the ones we just did. The only thing I care about is they don't come too close together. It's the only thing we're trying not to do. So start with the white tool yellow tip and make your bottom dot and your top dot about 1/2 inch apart. Ditto for your side dots. You can stick one in the middle and then switch over to your green tip to put a tiny dot in between. White tip, white tool, yellow tip. Put two big dots. It didn't have very much paint on it, did it? Okay. Give some space, put one in the middle, and then switch over to the green tip and put a tiny dot in between. When I do the in-between dots, I actually always start where I have the most space. So for example, I'll show you what I mean on this one. Because I'm not always evenly spaced, and it doesn't really matter in general, but what I want to make sure is that my dots don't touch, like that one just did. So when I do this, if I have a lot of space over here, I have the most paint on my tool, and I want to use that up. Here's another thing to tell you guys. Even if you're using the same tip and the same color, you can clean your tip in between so you don't get an accumulation of color. So this is what I was talking about before when you have two dots that seriously run together. This is worthy of being cleaned up, but I'm not going to do it now. Okay, I'm going to wait until that paint is dry. It'll be so much easier. All right, so any questions? No. So white tool, yellow tip. We're going to make the dots about 1/2 inch apart. Put one in the middle. Switch over to the green tip and put a little dot in between. If when you wander next, I would take no rush, the paintbrush with the chiseled end, so I can demonstrate clean up later. Thanks.
Question, are we doing a variety of these in there, or just one?
Just one in each bag.
I mean, like.
Oh.
Like.
I don't care.
One in each
No,
bag?
it doesn't make a difference to me. You know, we're just going to use them all up.
Okay.
So what Alyssa is doing, you can't see her. She's over here. Working. So their Taguanut Cafe is doing a free barbecue outside on Saturday. You know, a lot of people who have lost their jobs, their unemployment hasn't kicked in yet, and, you know, it kind of makes things a little difficult. So they're doing a free lunch barbecue. Anybody who wants to stop by, grab a burger, hot dog, till they run out is welcome to. It starts at 11. I think it goes from 11 to 1 on Saturday. So Karen, the owner of Taguanut, asked me if I wanted to come, and because she knew that I was handing out free craft kits. I dropped them at the food pantries, and I've given them to a number of groups. And I said, yes, of course I do. So we are now putting together 150 craft kits to hand out on Saturday at the barbecue. I am particularly happy that I'm able to do that. I mean, I have a lot of craft supplies. A lot of things I can throw in there, and this, it just helps parents out. I appreciate that. My kids are grown, but boy, oh boy, I could only imagine what it would be like to be housebound with them nonstop for as long as we are going to be housebound. So I'm super happy to do that, and I'm happy she asked. So if you or anyone you know is interested, stop by Taguanut. The way we're doing it is we're mostly asking people just park on the street and walk in. We're not going to be indoors. We're going to be outside. We're going to ask people to observe the 6-foot zone for social distancing. But also, if you were to drive up with a group, please, only one person from the family should get out of the car and come and get the food for everybody. Number one issue is we want to keep everybody safe. So maybe I'll see you on Saturday. But anyway, that's what Alyssa's doing over here, is packing bags. All right, so did everybody finish their diamonds? Yes, are we feeling diamondy? Oh, so now we're going to stick with, we've done our diamonds. We are now going to do our next drag, actually. So we're going to use the same tool, all right, the white tool with the yellow tip, okay? We're going to use the same color, still the bright medium blue. And we're going to make, I'm going to show you the picture first so that you can see it. I think sometimes that's easier, right? So we just did this, and now we're going to drag out and up. Kind of looks like horns to me. I know that makes no sense. I'm sure there's a nicer thought, maybe petals. Sounds better than horns. So we're going to just drag up, drag up, drag up. All right, can you guys see that? I'm tilting it now in case my angle is bad. I guess you can see it. Oh, yeah. I'm watching myself here. I'm scaring myself. Okay. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to use the white tool with the yellow tip. All right, and I'm going to come around the bottom, hold it for a second, and just pull it up. Right here, hold it for a second, pull it up. All right, and then I'm going to turn and do it again. So, right here, hold it for a second, pull it up. And the truth is, like everybody else, I'm like, ooh, I like those horns better. So, all of mine I don't love equally. Fortunately, they're not my children, so I don't have to worry about that. I don't know if you can, how loud the bagginess is over there. No, I'm just telling you. Was it way too? Okay, I'm just checking comments to see if anybody had any questions. So you guys are all getting the whole drag thing? The horns of plenty? I don't know what they're horns of. Okay, oops. All right, so for what it's worth, my horns are complete on step 9, so I'm gonna let you guys finish up your drags. Drags have become, like, oddly one of my favorite steps, and I only say oddly because I think it's odd that I have favorite steps. But I do. All right, I'm getting my new step numbers. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. I don't think there's 18 steps, but okay. So I'll look for some thumbs up when you guys are caught up a little bit on your horns. Drags. Okay, I can pull that over even a little bit more. Okay, I'm seeing thumbs. Where are we over here? Okay, whoops. Okay. I gotta really learn how to master this because you guys are sending me some cute little things here. All right, so now we're gonna still use the white tool and the yellow tip. And we're gonna start teardropping over that whole blue thing we just did. So again, I'm gonna show you what we're doing on the finished plate. So we just did this here. All right, so now we're gonna do this teardrop. We have 3 of them. 1, 2, 3. So red, then the pink, and then the white. Or if you wanna look at it this end, red, pink, and white, which is kind of hard for you to see because I have a terrible glare and I keep forgetting to hold the plate on an angle. Okay. So we're gonna use the white tool with the yellow tip for all 3 of these. So we're gonna start with the red color, And that's the one where you're going to, you know, sort of establish. Now, when I do this one, I'm going to do the teardrop. I guess this could be interesting. It's going to start up here. Oops, I didn't get enough paint on there, my bad. All right, and I'm going to, it's kind of a wide teardrop because you have to go around your horns, and it comes, the point that I want to make is it comes to the center. I'm going to use a clean tip to point with, to the center of one of these blue circles, okay? You see that shape there? So it's coming down. You don't want it to come too close because you're going to have to scooch around your drag. So keep it outbound, and it's going to come basically aligned with the center of your blue circle. Okay, no questions on that. So just keep, every time you start one up here, know where you're going and that you're avoiding your horns. Seems like a good way to live your life. Know where you're going. It's like that was deeply profound. Now, on this one, you'll find, oops, I see that's when I had to go outside a little bit. You may or may not end up with the same number exactly on each side for this. Again, I'm going to remind you guys, it doesn't matter. The main thing I think for this, to get a good shot at it, is to start high enough in your center so that if you're too low, you're going to end up having to scooch around your horns. All right, any questions? Nope. All right. We're getting the teardrop idea, and I think I'm okay with the pace. Okay. This one I have to, see now I'm looking, I'm like, oh, you know what? This one I did on a slightly different angle, so I definitely want to take a little bit more care about this one. I'm going to go up a little bit higher just for my own safety stake so I don't run into that thing. And I'm also, it's going to be shorter on that side because it's not perfectly even, but that's all right. It won't matter in the long run. I'm just showing you that I'm kind of thinking about it as I go. Where I start it, I'm thinking about getting around the drag and making sure I think from all the ones I've done, it makes the biggest difference if you can end up where you want to end up, like in the middle of that blue dot. That's more important than how many dots you have, or whether you're directly where whether there's an even number on both sides. So we're going to do one arc of the red, and then we're going to do the same thing with the pink, and then the same thing with the white. I got to move my number 10 sign because I'm running out of room. Let's see, does it show up if I put it there? Let's see. All right, so now I'm going to move over to pink. Let's see. Yeah, you can still see the 10. Good. Okay. So the second group, the second arc is easier because you're really just following the pattern you've already established. Remember before when I said if you start out and then you run out of paint later on, you can go down to the next tip and do it again. And that would apply here as well. If you run out, you are using the yellow tip, you can go down to the purple tip to finish. Questions? Nope. All right. So you guys see that? Yeah, pretty good. Any questions? Nope. Okay. One of the things I like about these plates, I think I've mentioned this to some of you who have been in classes with me, is, it sounds so silly, but how good they come out. Even the first time you do them, I did a class, I think it was at the Apple Barrel a month ago or so, and it was so cool because they all looked so different at the end. And then I fired them and took a picture of them all out on the table. And the comments I got from people were so cool because they're like, I would never have guessed that they all came out looking spectacular. I'm like, I know, that's what I love about this. And the reason partially that matters to me is because I make so many of them. The fact that they come out really good means I can give them as gifts. Whereas like my canvases are like, okay, I love them. And I have them hanging in my house, but I'm not sure I'd, give them to my sister. But you don't know my sister, so I hope my sister's not watching. Fortunately, I have 3 sisters, so no one will know which one I'm talking about. Anyway, I have given these as gifts, and it's kind of cool. Because it's one of those things, it's what I like about the studio, and what I do here is that I love that reaction of people didn't even know I made it, and I think that's kind of cool. It's a handmade gift, and I made it, and it looks to you like I got it at a craft fair. So, all right, so we're going to move on to just the last arc, which we're going to do, again, same thing, white tool, yellow tip, and I'm going to use the white for this. Again, so it's the white because it says white on the outside. Okay. Do it on the side so you guys can see if you need to. Though I think that by now, watching me dot cannot be the highlight of your night. I think that thrill is over. All right, no questions? Are most of you guys on this step? Or you're let me know by a show of thumbs up how many people are on the white teardrop. One. Okay, that wasn't impressive. I will slow down. Sorry about that. All right, so I will make sure I wait before we move on to the next step. Okay. Any questions? Nope. All right. Okay. Oops, I I lost my step 10. Okay. Starting to look like something, you guys. Look at it, nice and complex. All right. So I'm gonna look for, oops, now I went too far. Let's see, let's get us recentered there. All right, so I'll look for some, I'm gonna change over to step 11, just the number, and then I'm gonna watch for your thumbs up so I know when you guys are finishing up your white teardrop. Hmm?
I said you're a speed daughter.
I am a speed daughter. Well, I know. All right, Janet's done. Janet, I think you're going to be my barometer. All right, let's see. Anyone else through their white dots yet? Okay. Did I say step 11-3? Okay, good. Getting there. All right, just so you guys know, we're going to do what I would call the finishing steps on each of our rays. So it's essentially 2 more steps for that, and then we're going to do some double dotting. Our finishing up double dotting. Sometimes I like to wait, you get a different look depending upon whether you wait for the paint to dry or not to dry before you double dot. So we're going to do, I'm going to grab the plate again, the finished one. Oh, and look at me remembering to hold it at an angle finally. That didn't take all night. And I'm going to show you what we're going to do next. We're going to work on, is that up here? No, down here, sorry. These drags. Oh, I wrote on my plate. Anyway, we're going to do this drag, which is above the diamonds, the blue diamonds, in between the teardrops you just made. So we're going to do the dark blue, and we're going to bring that down. Okay, that's going to be our next step. So I just wanted to show that to you so you could get, see what it looks like. It's obviously not very different from the pink ones. They're a little bit more curvy. And we're going to actually do this one with the larger tool. So we're going to do this. These are going to be done with the yellow tool. Okay, and we're going to use the black tip that we have not used yet because, everybody has to play. So yellow tool, black tip, it's the one next to the red tip. So it goes, in terms of order, it goes red, black, blue. So it's the black one that we're going to use. And we're going to do, like we did before, let me center that for you. We're going to do dark blue, and we're going to start, you want to start pretty far out up here. Place it and pull it down. You want a big drag here, big drag. That's what we're going for. And then on the sides, you can do, what I like to do is kind of start a little off center and then bring it down. Okay, so on this one, you're going to start a little off center and make it more like a little bit of a curve in there. Whoops, I ran out of paint. Okay. Okay, so I'll show you on another one. I'll keep showing it. So yellow tool, black tip, dark blue paint. Going to start in the middle, start pretty high up, like as high as your white, and just bring it straight down. And then on each side, you're going to make a little curve. Kind of, it ends up looking like a comma. Now remember, this blue paint is fairly liquidy. I know I talk about the viscosity of paint all the time. So this is a pretty liquidy one, so it can bleed rather significantly. So give yourself some space. So when you put it down, make sure you give yourself room to pull that curve in. Put it down and pull that curve in. Can you guys see that? I'm just learning how to do this. You might actually be able to see it better if I don't try to center it. So I bring this one down, and then I'm going to start over here and just bring it around. All right, start over on the side and bring it around. How does that work? Well, it would work better, Jack, if you were inside the viewing area. All right. Yeah, sorry, we'll do it again. Obviously. All right, so I'm starting way up here. I'm just bringing it straight down. And then I'm starting on the side and curving it in. Starting on the side and curving it in. This one didn't go all the way down, so I'm coming back and redoing it. All right. Man, that darn hand's getting in the way every time. I gotta figure out how to do this so you guys can see it better. Although maybe you're fine. You're not asking a ton of questions, so I'm thinking maybe it's working out okay. Let's try it. I'm going to turn it this way and try to do it upside down. Wow, that's hard. Okay, here we go. Out here and come around. Oh, maybe that's better. Well, now you've seen it from every angle, so you can vote on which angle you like the best. So up here and down. From the outside and curve. From the outside and curve. How is that? Yeah, I can't. I'm having a hard time figuring out how to keep my knuckles out of the way. How's that one? This is my last try, so I'm hoping I gotcha. All right, well, nobody's complaining, so I'm gonna go call that a win. Okay. So, all right, so yeah, that's right. You got it. Show me your thumbs up when you're finishing up this step so I know when I can move on. I'm not going to rush you. That was step 11. We're going to do step 12 next. Just so you guys know, there's like 14 steps. I just made that up. I didn't know how many steps there were, so I have it divided into 14 steps. I have numbers here that go up to 27 because I just didn't know how detailed I was going to be. So we're just about done. All right. All right. Thanks, Janet. All right. So we are also so now what we're going to do above the drags you just did is we're going to actually do white. Okay. So we're going to use the white tool and we're going to use the purple tip and we're going to use the white glaze. So white tool, purple tip, white glaze. All right. And what we're going to do is we're going to make a base. I'm going to do it up here. I'm going to go upside down and backwards because I don't think it's that hard. And we're going to put 2 dots, one kind of on each side of the drag. Now I'm going to point something out to you guys. As we are approaching the end of the plate where the rim comes up, sometimes what I'll do here is I'll tilt my plate. Let me see if you guys can see that, right? I'm picking up my plate so that this part here is parallel to the table. Okay, and that way I'm working on a flat surface. It doesn't, that way I'm not going up the slope. I tilt the plate up enough. It's almost like you're pouring something off the plate. And all I'm gonna do is using that same tip, the white tool with the purple tip, starting between those two, and I'm just going to dot my way to the edge. However many, you can decide how many dots you want. The good news is it sets. It doesn't dry quickly, but it sets quickly enough that you can keep going. So 2 dots, then dip again, and dot my way to the end. Okay, now I did 4 over here. You can do 4 or 5. It'll always look pretty even. Let me see if you guys have any questions. We're just about, I know that's I don't know if that's too loud for people. Okay. Let's see. So again, I'm tilting it up using the white tool with the purple tip, putting one dot on each side, if you will, of the middle drag, and then dot, dot, dot toward the end of the plate. I usually have about 5, it looks like. 5's my number. Whoops, I have a hair. Sorry. That's not part of the design, that's extra. Okay, so on this end, dot on each side using the white tool with the yellow tip, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But again, how many dots you're gonna have is gonna depend on how much room you have. Everybody usually ends up at a different place. Oop. So I did my commas the opposite way. Of course you did, Jen. I hope so. As long as they fit, right? That's all that matters. Jen and I have a history with dot mandala designs. We go way back of reconstructing. 3, 4, 5. Now I'm going to do my last one, and I'm going to put it down and let it set for a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So how did I tell you guys? That was step 12. So you guys finish up step 12. Go ahead and give me thumbs up when you're done. That's so funny, I forgot the instructions for my 3 dots on my own instruction page. All right, how are we doing on our white dots? I'm taking notes and just for my own. I'd be happy to share my notes with you, although they're probably only readable by me, I have to be honest. I think I know that for a fact. I think Alyssa tried to teach a class from my notes once, and she's like, yeah, I think I'll make my own notes, thanks. So I apologize. But anyway, April, if you end up with any questions at all, or like, I don't get how that works or whatever, just, you know where to find me. I'm not worried. All right. I'm sorry, I stopped looking at the screen for a second. So are we good for this step? Thumbs ups. That's the problem, is that I'm not looking at the screen when I'm doing it. I can't. So, okay. So we just have one more finishing step here, and then we're going to go hit double dotting. So we're still going to use the white tool, and we're going to use the purple tip, okay? And we're going to use the dark blue. And we're going to go above the center of the white arc, or the teardrop, and we're going to do a little triangle of that. Here, I'll show it to you first, so you know, I think it's easier. I think I need to get in the habit of showing you stuff before I do it. Makes it easier for you to see. Oops. So, okay, so which is that one? I'm up here or down there? No, down here, sorry. I have to get in the practice of being reversed. 1 second. Nope, up here is the right. No, it's not. Okay. So, sorry, you guys. It's hard for me to figure what's up and down. So, see these 3 blue dots? We're going to make those next. Whoops. Tilting. We'll double dot them later. And then we're going to do a light blue antenna, as I call it, coming out of that. So, we're going to use the white tool with the purple tip and the dark blue paint. And we're going to make a little triangle right at the top, in the middle of each of those arcs. All right, so it's the white tool with the purple tip, dark blue glaze, little triangle. White tool, purple tip, 3 dark blue dots in a triangle. You guys are probably all caught up to me by now, so. White tool, purple tip, dark blue triangle. Okay. Boom. Now I'm going to clean that sucker off because I'm going to use the same tip, but I'm going to switch over to the medium blue glaze. Trying to figure out which is the bottom so I can demo this better, I think. Yeah, okay, that's the bottom. So I'm going to use that, and I'm going to make the same kind of an antenna coming like I did before, holding my plate tilted so that the rim is parallel to the table, and I'm going to do dot, dot, dot. However many I can fit before I, run off the end, which is really not what I want to do. So mostly it's 4. Occasionally it's 3. For me, you guys are all going to be different because some people dot looser and some people dot tighter. Oh, thank you. Comment. I'm watching, but I'm waiting. Yes. Oh, good. All right, Natalie. Well, just let me know if you have any questions, but I'm excited. Take a picture for me when you guys sit down and do it together. And by the way, thank you for everything you're doing and giving up for us there in the ICU. We know these are very difficult and tense times. And as hard as it is for us with families and being stuck at home, quote unquote, and all those sorts of things, boy, oh boy, you guys are amazing. What you have to put up with. So thank you for that. Okay, so I'm going to put it down. We are through that's step 13, and we're going to be on our last step, which has a number of little things to it, but this could even be a little bit of freestyling. I'm going to wait for you guys, so I'm going to look for your thumbs up, because this is us finishing up here on the last step, and I want to make sure you're ready for it. Okay. Which blue for the last set? So, Carrie, these are light blue. So, I'm sorry, no. Don't listen to me. To me, I call it light blue. It's medium blue. It's the one that says medium blue on it, number 18. So it's the bright blue. I hope that was pretty clear. Oh gosh, now how could you see that? My big hand's in the way. Sorry. Cannot hold things upside down. See, there's a little bit of a lag between what I do and when it shows up for you guys, so I apologize. So yeah, we're using this medium blue. It's cool because it'll jump kind of nicely. With the white in between. So let me know when you guys are filling up. This is all good because we want to let our paint dry a little bit before we do a lot of our double dotting. All right. The last dots are, actually I'm doing them in the medium blue, Janet, okay? So the truth is you could do them in light blue or medium blue. I don't know if you guys like that high level of options. Of course, you can always, as anyone knows who's taken class with me, you can always ignore all of my color choices and use your own. But these I did in the medium blue. Okay. So I'm going to talk a little bit about double dotting. For those of you who are doing your antennas, your last set of antennas, you might actually be able to kind of look at, I'm not forcing you to look at this at the same time. I'm just going to show you conceptually what we're doing now. So you'll notice we're going to start from the center. You'll notice that in the center, we already did this white dot. So we're going to do a bright blue dot in the middle of that. And then all the little tiny dots around it, I'm adding a little speck of white. I'm making sure that's correct. Yes. So I'm added white, a little white in there. And then we're going to do a little white on all of these diamondy things. Oops, it's really hard to see. Let me see if I can... Hold up. I'm going to see if I can get a better view for you guys. Does it work better if I... Oh, gosh, of course, that makes all the difference in the world, doesn't it? Okay, so can you see here? If I can hold it straight. Let me see where I'm pointing. No, I want to point over here. I think you have a better view over here. Toot, 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 toot. Not really what I was going for. This one. This is the one I want you to see. Let's see. Yeah, okay, I think this one has the best view. So take a look at that. Can you see that it's got the little white? And again, these are off center. Remember when we did these in the beginning and you put the white off center? We're going to do these also so that the white dot is not in the middle of the red, but it's actually on the inside. It gives it kind of a little bit of a kooky look to it. I don't know what else to call it. So I'm going to go through this all again, step by step, but I just want to show you where we're going with the center of this design. So in the middle, we're going to add a little bright blue. And so that one will have 3 dots on it. The dark blue, the, I can't remember if it was white or light blue that we did before, and now a bright blue. And then we're going to add a little dot to the center here, which is off center toward the middle, and then the same thing on all of these diamonds. So let's do that. All right, so we're going to start with, for this, I always use the one of the smallest ones. I use the white tool with the green tip. That's the smallest tip, because the Jackie world of painting is you can always add more, you can't add less. So I'm going to use the light blue and just put a little dot in the middle of that, and then I'm going to clean that tip off because I'm not going to use that light blue again. All right. And now I'm still going to use the white tool with the green tip. I'm going to switch over to, switch over to the white, and I'm going to take the tiniest little bit. I don't want to soak this one because what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a tiny dot on the inside. I'm seeing if you guys can see that. It's really hard. Let me pick it up. Okay. I'm going to put a tiny dot just on the inside edge of each of these circles. Let me see if you can see that. Well, I guess I'm kind of in the dark here. Whoa. Try to come back, little Sheba. Okay, you get it. Oh, I found the light. Okay. Definitely have to add more light next time. Live and learn. I did not know how dark this would be. I thought I was sitting under some bright lights. So what I'm doing is I'm just making a tiny little dot right on the edge. Okay, so it's all kind of toward the center. Does that make sense to you guys? Oh, that looks good. Whoops, off camera. Not good. Come back, come back. Okay. And I'm going to do the same exact thing with the white tool, the green tip, and the white glaze. And I'm going to add a dot in the center, not in the center, on the inside edge of all of these little red dots. Okay? Little circle on the inside edge. Sometimes you can do 2 with 1 dip on these. Depends on how heavy a dipper you are. Not a shocker, I'm a heavy dipper. Let me see if you guys can see this. Yeah, you can see this pretty good, I think. I'll look and see if you have any comments. That's all. No. The double dots. So the double dots that I'm doing, April, on the red and on those blues is white. I'm doing white ones. White dots. Okay, I'm twirling the plate, not wanting to make anybody dizzy. So right on the inside edge. The other thing I want to show you guys is that if you look at the first page, I think, or the, oh no, you don't have the instructions. Dang it. Okay, next time I'll be smarter and send you home with a picture of what the finished plate looks like. I didn't think of that. Okay, my bad. Thank you for being my test group. But if anybody needs me to send them a picture before they finish their plate, let me know. I can send that to you tomorrow. But just on the inside edge of each little circle, okay? And the next thing, well, I'm gonna wait. Sorry. I can learn, I can adapt. Okay, great, thank you. All right, so we're gonna use the same tool, the white tool with the green tip, and we're gonna go back to that medium blue. And we're just gonna, on the, before, remember we double dotted, well, you can see it, you can see the guy, we double dotted these guys. We're gonna add a little light blue in those as well. So those will also be triple dotted. I tend to always try to put them at the bottom edge rather than in the center because I just think it's a cool look, but it is not the only look. So if you are uncomfortable with the off-centeredness, it's perfectly reasonable to put it in the center. So this is some very fine work to have to try to show on camera. Oh, whoa. All right, there you go. You can see it. So we've got that in there. And we just have a few more to double dot. We're gonna move out then to our pink drags, and we're gonna double dot the pink drags with the dark blue. So again, still the white tool with the green tip. I'm gonna use the dark blue glaze, and I'm just gonna put a dot, make sure you guys can see this, at the top of each of those pink drags. Okay? So at the end closest to the horns. My God, if anyone just ever heard me just what I'm saying without looking at this, they'd think I was nuts. All right, so at the top, just gonna do a small blue dot. This dot really pops because it's so bright, this dark blue, especially on the pink. All right. Making sure I don't have any tool for the double dot, same question, okay. So I'm sticking with the white tool and the green tip. It's the smallest one, and frankly, I can control it the best. I don't want these to get out of control. So funny, I just said that, and now I'm gonna change it on the next one. All right, I'll wait until you guys are done with this one, so I see some thumbs up come up, because we're gonna move out then to our blue diamonds and our horns. And for those, I'm gonna switch, I'm gonna go up a size. So I'm still gonna use the white tip, the white tool, but I'm gonna switch to the purple tip because I just want these to be a little bit bigger. So on the blue circles, so on these, I guess I could put this down for a second. So on these 4 circles, all right, we're going to do the bright blue, okay, medium blue. And on these, I also do it on toward the center. So get off center. So on the inside, just like you did it for the red ones, the little tiny red ones, we're doing it for this as well. I'm gonna put them on here, and then I'm gonna pick this up and show it to you, so you can see it really well, I think, or I hope. Woo! Try to stay still for you. Okay. It's hard to see it a little bit. Woo! Come back into the camera, Jack. There we go. All right, so can you see that that's on the inside? It's hard to see because the dark blue is dried, so it doesn't pop right now. But I'm going on to the next one, and I'm putting it on the inside corner of each of those. All right, yes. Okay. Like to see the thumbs up. I know this is making sense. Dip whenever you need to get a good dot in there. All right. All right, so this is still the white. For this size dot, we're using the white tool with the purple tip now, because these are going to be a bigger dot. So that's got all of my blue diamonds done. We're going to still stick with the white tool and the purple tip, but going to switch our color to white. We're going to put a dot on the horns. Okay, so this is the horn is a drag, so the dot goes in the fat part of the drag. Okay. Let's see, can you guys see that? Oops, there's the camera. Oops. Yeah, I know. You missed it. There it is. There's the shot. Okay. So the white goes in the fat part of the horn. All right. 2 more sets of double dots then. One more set we're going to do with the same size. So we're going to still use the white tip. White tool, purple tip. And we're going to use some red. We're going to go back to our red, and we're going to put a dot at the fat spot on the big blue swirls. Sometimes I feel like I'm in a Dr. Seuss story when I'm describing these. All right, so that's what we're doing there. I need to put this down for a second. Rest my wrist there. Pick up some glaze. Okay. So, whoops. This has a little piece of debris in it. Okay, I need to get that out of there. Done. You can always on your own, oops, switch, make your own decision. Like if you dot it and you think it's too small using this purple tip that I'm suggesting, you are well within your rights to move up to the yellow tip, okay? This is just my suggestion. It is not a hard and fast rule. Gonna need to add more light the next time I do this. I have to remember that. More light. All right, so I'm just gonna I'm just gonna put a red dot on the tips of all of the blue swirls. Okay. All right, so I'm just gonna leave that for a sec while you guys catch up, because we just have one more set of double dots. And what we're going to do, I'm terrible. I said I'm going to stop and then I just start talking. Surprised they let me out by myself. What are you taping up over there?
Glue cups for the eggs.
Ah.
I don't have enough paper bags, so we need more.
Yeah, I meant to stop and pick some up on the way here. I'll get them tomorrow. All right, so we ready for the last double dotting? So the last double dotting, I'll show you on the done sample plate. The last double dotting, ooh, try to get you an angle here that isn't all glary. Let's see, I can do this. Let's see. Okay, that you could see, but then of course I moved it. Nope, I had it good before. Ah, that's good. Okay, so I guess that's this one that we're looking at here, right? Where am I pointing? No, it must be this one. I'm really not good at the whole how the camera works upside down and backwards. I appreciate your patience. Is that this one? No, I'm off camera. It must be this one then. Because this is the one that's most visible. Sorry. Yeah, there we go. That's what I wanted to show you. So we're going to use the white tool again with the green tip and just put a white dot in the middle of those three. Okay? Wasn't like it was that profound or anything. I just wanted you to see it before I did it. So white tool, green tip, those tiny 3 dots up there. So you don't want to have a ton of paint on your tip, and we're just going to add a tiny dot. This dot is so small that it, you're going to go in the middle. Okay, this is not one to try to get the inside edge on. And just twirl it around and just add a little dot in there. What I like about, it's kind of fun, sometimes I finish a design and I look at it and it's really cool, but when I double dot it, it adds so much dimension and complexity to it. I suddenly think of it as like a whole new design. And I'm like, why did I even like this before I did the double dotting? So I think double dotting is pretty important in terms of a complete design. So I think that's us. Oh my gosh. Is that everybody? Everybody's dotted. Oh my God, I'm done. And I was like waiting for more. You would think I would know we were done. What do you guys think? Oh, you're still doing it. I'll be quiet. Thank you. Yay. So, I was going to show you how to clean up a mess. Right. So if you do have two things. One is if you don't have a tool that you can use for this, you're not sure you understand what I mean, or you just don't want to do it, it's no big deal. When you bring it in, just tell me, and I'll find it and I can clean it up for you. It's no big deal. But this is what I have. You can use a nail file. You can use any somewhat sharp tool that you can control. I happen to use this. I have these paint brushes. Ooh, this is a better one because it's not clear. Aren't you just clever? Okay, and it has a little chisel end to it. So that's kind of easy. I like this tip right here, but you don't have to use anything like this. Now I have to find, okay, so over here, I'm going to try to do this close up. Here were the 2 dots I was telling you about that bled together. Okay, I'm not trying to reshape them. All I'm going to do is essentially draw a line and blow. Sound effects for blowing. I don't have to try to turn them into circles, and I don't want to scratch too much. Scratch a little, blow, scratch a little, blow. Okay? You just want to stop as soon as you have a line of demarcation, like that. I don't know if you can even see that. I'll try to bring it up super close. My camera's probably going to hate me because it's going to get all blurry, and also I can't find the camera. Okay, wait for it. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm in the wrong place. Really haven't figured out how this camera works. But in any case, oh, there it is. So you can see over here is just a tiny little line of demarcation between the two. The problem is if you do a lot more than that, you run the risk of taking up the base coat. And that's a much harder problem to fix. So just a little line of demarcation. You can see, if you can see an air between the two, let it go. Okay? So that's how you clean it up. You need to leave this out for at least a couple of hours, overnight if you can, someplace where the cat won't jump on it, please. Or a kid with, grubby kid hands doesn't want to see what you made. And let it dry completely. And when you bring it back to the studio, just remember I need your slip. If you want us to write anything on the back, you can write it on the slip. We need your tools back. I don't need your glazed cups back. So drop it off. We will get it fired, and you'll have yourself a beautiful first ever virtual class, the Studio for Art and Craft memory. So thank you all very much. I appreciate your patience with me. If you have any insights for me on terms of things I can do better to make the classes, easier from your perspective, please share those. You can either shoot me a note, you can let me know when you drop off the plate, whatever works for you. But I really, really appreciate your feedback. I appreciate all of your support during these times. The studio isn't open very much. There's one of us working here from 12 to 2 and from 5 to 6 most days. And I do that so we can do the pickups and drop-offs, as I mentioned, for families. But the other main thing I'm able to do as a result of that is to do a lot of pro bono things for the community. And, those of you who've known me a long time know I'm always been super involved in my community. And, if ever there's a chance that I can do something to help people who help make this a great place to live, I'm happy to do it. So I'm just going to remind you that if you're interested in our next project, which is the Celestial Blues plate, that one is going to be, here, I'm going to move this one out of the way. So I'll put this down far. So, oops, let me see. Look at me adjusting my camera. Ooh, tilting. Okay. So this one, okay, is a little bit, I'm going to do this class together like this with whatever I learned, like better light and stuff, next week. But this one also comes with written instructions. So you can do it on your own if you prefer, or at least this way you'll have the written instructions with you. This one is better suited to that. So you can order the kit for this on the website, and it will be ready for you when you drop your plate off. Thanks again. Have a great night, and stay safe. Oh, wait, here I am.